Kia ora and welcome to the mock entry form walkthrough video for the Electra Business and Innovation Awards. My name is Natalie Routini and I'm one of the program managers for the awards, and I'm here with Heather Hutchings, who is here to share her expert advice on how to create a successful entry for the awards for the year ahead. So basically what we're going to do on this video is share our screen and walk you through a mock entry for the awards, and we'll speak to each section as we go through to give you our top tips on how to put that successful entry forward. Alrighty, as you can see here, we've got the entry form for 2024. At the top of the entry form, there's just some key bullets here with information on how this entry form is laid out and how to complete it. So basically, our entry form is an editable Word document. So really easy for anybody to open and edit on their computer. So basically, you download the Word document from the website. You then save this to your desktop, the cloud, wherever you want really, but it is your responsibility to save it somewhere that you can access it anytime you need to, and it's easy for you to find really. So label it carefully and pop it somewhere safe. We recommend that you do save it at regular intervals as you go as well. You know, it is your responsibility to make sure that you are doing this. If you lose work that you've worked on, we won't have the ability to support you to get that back because it'll be sitting on your own device. So, you know, recommend that if you're working on a question and you've crafted, you know, a response, some information in there, just hit that save button once you're finished and then move on and start working on the next question. Really important that you do this. Just a little note about the blue boxes on the entry form. So these are actually just for the judges. So any boxes that are blue do not require text from yourself. This is for our judging team to enter their scores. Once you're ready to submit the final version of your entry form, we do ask that you name it accordingly. So we ask that you name the document with your business name, with a hyphen, and the industry category that you've selected. And then just another mention of the entry guidelines. So for any, you know, questions that you have, just have those entry guidelines available on your desktops that you can open it as you go. If you come across a question as you work through this, you know, look for the answer in those guidelines as you're working through it. Right, moving into section 1. So the top section labeled your business. This section is not actually scored by our judges. What this section does is provides the judges with a snapshot of your business. It helps them to get some context and understand what it is that you do as they work into the areas that they do score. So they've got a bit of background information there to support their thinking and their scoring. So we'll just have a little look at what we do ask for. So the top of the form is just some really basic, you know, your business name, which categories you're entering, your contact information. Again, we ask for some information to support our marketing. So, you know, your website and any social media handles that you might have. So just that sort of real key contact info. And then we move down into what does your business do? So, you know, what sector are you in? What markets do you serve? Tell us about your products and services. Give us in a nutshell what you do so the judges can really understand how you operate there. We then have a couple of questions that help us with ascertaining if you're eligible for the new and emerging and small business categories. So when did you start trading? And what are your current staff levels? Moving through to, are there any significant challenges your business has faced in the past 24 months? So any challenges that your business has faced or factors that have been out of your control. They could be external factors or something to do with competitors or something that you've faced within your internal operation, you know, any issues that you've faced. This is really important for them to get a full picture around that, and also how you've potentially resolved any of those issues and how you've approached those issues as a business. Is really helpful for our judging team to understand. And then the final question in this section is what makes your business special or different. So this is, you know, what gives you an advantage in the marketplace, or enables you to deliver a better product or service than perhaps your competitors are. So just a bit of information around, what makes you unique. Right, I'm going to actually hand over to you, Heather, just to add any additional information to that section 1 that you might, want to share with entrants, and then dive into section 2 of the entry form.
Fantastic. Thanks, Natalie. What makes your business special or different? This is the great place that Natalie was talking to you about, of just brain dumping, get all the information down, get your staff involved, and just really expand what makes you different from your competitor. Please don't put customer service or something like that, because everybody will tell us that they're better at customer service than their competitors. So what makes you stand out in the crowded marketplace? And there will be something. Just get it on paper, brain dump it down, and then just put that into a paragraph or a sentence. And you might be surprised what makes you special, or give you that competitive advantage. Question 1, why should your business be considered one of the top businesses in the Kapiti Hora Whenua? Once again, that's a good place to put all the brain dumping down, get it all sorted, have some fun with it. Please note that 400 words, don't go overboard. Bullet point, what makes you special and why your business should be considered for the Business of the Year award. So just have some fun with that, but brain dump it first, then bullet point it so that it's easy reading for the judges. Now we move on to business strategy, and this for me is the area that I really, really want you to think about. So what major areas are you focused on to make your business successful? And we've bullet pointed these, and each one of these need to be answered. Explain why you set them as a priority. It doesn't have to be a book. Bullet point why you set it. It might only be one sentence. And as we go down, specifically what you did, how that improved your business. And we're asking you there to be as specific as you can about the steps and outcomes. So we don't need words and lots of words there. It needs to be easy reading for the judges. Bullet point it down. Once again, in that area, there's 400 words. And as we scroll down, you can see we've actually done a little mock entry for you. And this business in particular focused on their professional image and branding, their technology, the marketing, and the staff and customer service. So you can see very quickly we've got, yes, that's what they focused on. It's in a bullet point. The judges can see it quickly, and then they can focus on what happens after that. Now we go down to the next one. Why did you make them as a priority? Once again, look at the bullet points. Easy for the judges to read, easy to understand. 3 or 4 words tells the story. And it's the same with our next bullet point, our technologies, all right? Once again, look at the bullet points that we have down for you. So 3 or 4 words, identified our needs and what gaps we have. Easy reading, easy to understand. Purchase a new CRM software. Easy to understand, and that relates back, and there's with the priorities, technology, marketing. And so it's really easy for the judges then to follow through on everything that you've been doing. And you can see we don't, it doesn't take a lot of words, straight, short, sharp, to the point. There's our marketing one, developed our marketing plan with the help of a professional advisor. That's the story. That tells us everything that we need to know. If we just keep going through, there's all of our strategy, if you like, sorted. The judges can read it. It's easy to understand. And you can see by brain dumping this down how you come up with these very clear answers. Now, if we move on to the next question, goals and objectives. These relate back to your strategy, to your question 2. So what goals and objectives did you set? What specific goals did you set for yourself and your business company in 2023? And why were they important to you? And how is the business going to measure those goals? They go back to the answers that you had in question 2. Because when you're doing a focus plan or a strategy plan, you put everything down that you're going to be working on, then you look at the goals and objectives you're going to meet to make sure that that focus or strategy happens. So just go back and have a look and make sure that the 2 are in alignment.
It all ties in with each other, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What you're answering in one section, ensure that it's tying into what you're speaking about in other sections of your entry form, not a repetition of that information.
Good point.
but tie it back into it, because it's
Yeah.
all a story of how you're operating, isn't it?
And what I like about it is that if you brain dumped it down, then you don't need a lot of words to tell us or the judges your story. It's so simple and it's all there. So if we go down to question 4, which is implementation, and guess what? This also goes back to your question on strategy and goals and objective. So we ask you here, what major steps or initiatives did your business take to deliver against your goals and business strategy? So you've already told us what your strategy was, what your goals and objectives were, and this is now telling us how you implemented them. And do you have any evidence to talk about that how this has been successful for your business? Now, we all know that sometimes our goals and objectives are not successful. Tell us about that as why. Why didn't it work and what happened? So this implementation section goes back to your previous 2 sections, so they're all tied together. Really important that you understand that.
You might not be able to tell us every single thing you've implemented in your business. You know, you have 400 words. So when you're looking at what you've implemented, you know, you might need to sort of drill down and pick out those top 5 projects that you worked on to get you further towards your goal or your strategy. You can't necessarily fit every single thing that you've implemented in your business in. So be selective, make it shine, is probably my tip for that particular section.
Fantastic. And you're right, any more than 4 or 5 objectives and goals in any given year is enough for any business. So as we scroll through, you see that we have staff engagement. What did you, working with your team, and what do you do to grow, motivate, and ensure your team is productive? Now, quite often we will have a solopreneur say, I don't have a team, there is just me. And I totally get that. So what do you do for yourself? How do you keep yourself upskilled? What courses do you go to? What workshops do you go to? So what do you do to keep you, if there's just you in your business, what do you do to keep yourself upskilled to grow and develop your business? So even though you don't have any staff per se, you are a staff member in your business. And so what do you do? So pop that into there.
We never do anything entirely solo though, do we? So do you have a mentor? Are you engaging with other people within your community or attending networking groups? Like, how do you get the information and the support that you require as a solo entrepreneur? Or like you say, if you've got a team, then you can dive into, your values and how you share that with your team, and how you get sort of that work ethic coming through and that consistency to delivering, your service or your product, and how you work with your staff to ensure that happens. Really, I think is really important to show the judges.
Totally agree. Once again, please note 400 words, so bullet point, don't go overboard. Our next one is customer satisfaction. And what initiatives did you undertake to improve delivery or performance for customers, clients, or consumers? And we're asking here for you to provide some specific examples of what was done. So perhaps you've sent out a survey, perhaps you run customer evenings. There are a number of ways that you can gauge customer satisfaction. So once again, don't complicate it, brain dump it down, and then just bullet point what you have done to engage your customer or your client, and making sure that we deliver the best service that we possibly can.
If you're moving in that innovation space, regardless of what industry you're working in, but that's what you want to highlight and make shine, then this would be the category that you enter.
And note that the business awards are the Business Innovation Awards. So hence, if you notice, 450 words and a higher weighting. You might, as you say, there's nothing that you do that makes you stand out, that makes you different. But perhaps this year you've decided to run some quick tips online. Now, that's your business being innovative compared to what you were doing last year. What are you doing this year that's different than last year that makes you innovative? So you will be surprised at how innovative you've been once you start thinking about it. And what have we got here? Can you provide an example? So if you do have an example of what you're doing, Can you provide an example of an idea or new practice that you've introduced to the business that was innovative? So once again, that's what I was talking about when it comes to the videos or whatever it is that's slightly different to what you were doing last year. Nobody else but what your business was doing last year. Pop it in there. We then move on to the next two questions, our financial numbers. So your growth and success, what were your revenue and profit year on year? So sometimes a lot of the businesses will go to their accountants to get these figures. Others, you have them in hand. So whatever you need to do to be able to fill out that form. Of course, if you're an emerging business, you might only have 6 months. So just tell us that that's what you've done, so the judges know. Then we come down to 8B. Now, these two questions are in alignment again. Please make sure you answer 8B. So what other benefits has the business seen in relation to the goals and objectives? Were there any additional unforeseen benefits? So we're going back to the goals and objectives a wee bit here, aren't we? So what are the impacts and benefits that have happened in your business? So please make sure you answer that question. Really important. And then down to our sustainability.
So again, we've actually moved this into its own category. It's an environmental sustainability category for 2024. So basically, it's what do you do in the sustainability space? You know, is it introducing a recycling waste method that you're reducing your carbon footprint through? Is it that you've gone completely paperless and that everything's digital? You know, everybody, I think, is thinking more and more on sustainability every year. And I think often it's the question people come to us and get a little bit stuck on. They go, but we don't do anything in the sustainability space. And I think the answer really is that we've embedded so much of it into our day-to-day operations that, you know, it's become normal for us, which is wonderful. But have a little bit of a think about it. You know, what are all the things that you're doing? You know, maybe you're doing something with, you know, if you're in manufacturing, you're dealing with your waste in a different way, or, you know, the water that you bring into your factory is coming from a different source now in a more sustainable way. There's lots of areas that I'm sure we're all working on and working towards improvement. Have you set up a new sustainability policy that you've rolled out with your staff that they've all fed into? Just sort of share that. How are you trying to reduce your carbon footprint? There's 400 words and it's at the 10% weighting, but we know we're all doing things in this space. So, yeah.
I think the keynote there that Natalie's mentioned is that you're doing it without realizing. And so just stop and have a wee think about what are you doing, because it's become natural to you and you haven't really given it much thought. It's just what you do. So once again, when you brain dump and you get it down, you'll be surprised at how sustainable you are in your business. So we'd love to see what you're up to. So Natalie, that's the complete form now.
Yeah. You can see at the very bottom, there's some comment boxes. You know, this is for our judges, they're blue boxes as mentioned before. So once you get down to that sustainability question and you've finished your form really. I think probably the only other thing that I'd like to touch on here is there is the opportunity, and at times entrants will submit additional evidence. So they might want to submit a document that supports what they're saying in one of the questions. This isn't actually something that we recommend you doing, and we only ever say to do it if it's absolutely necessary. If you cannot get down in the words available what you're trying to say. And if you are going to send additional evidence, it's really important that in the question you're responding to, that you actually reference the document so that the judges can very, very clearly see why you've included it and where it relates to on your entry form. And just so you sort of know, if you do have sort of some different documents or things that you would like to share with judges and you're tempted to send it in as evidence, there is an opportunity to bring these documents to the judges' meeting. So if you make a finalist position, you are able to bring, you know, any other planning documents, or you might have some beautiful testimonials or things that you want to share with them physically at that meeting. This entry form isn't the only opportunity for you to give that information to judges, really.
what I'd like to do is quickly talk to you about the judging. So we have industry judges. So when your forms are finished and they go through to pom-pom and they go into their relevant areas, they then go off to the industry judge. Now, those industry judges are experienced in your area that you've nominated. So they're not randomly picked out of anywhere. They are, they are experienced in your area. So your forms will go to the industry judges. Their scoring is done and it goes back to Natalie and Charlotte at Pom-Pom. And then the finalists from each area is then packaged up and sent off to our main judging team. Now, our main judging team has nothing to do with the industry judges. They're kept completely separate, so it's very transparent. And then the main judging teams will interview all the finalists, and from there they make their decision. Of course, nobody knows but the main judges until the awards night. So it's very, very transparent. Even the board members don't know. They find out on the awards night. So yeah, two lots of judging for you to go through, and that's good because you get a good report back. You'll find out where perhaps there's areas you could be working on in your business, or there might be a high five. You're doing this really well, so you will get those reports back at the end after the awards dinner, isn't it, Natalie? That those full reports come out to you, and then that gives you something to work on, and you might like to work on it and come back and try again in a couple of years' time once you've worked on those recommendations.
And we've seen people do that. Come back a couple of years later and take out their category or take out Business of the Year. So we know that feedback can be very valuable. So I think probably the last thing I just want to reiterate is just save that work as you go. There's nothing worse than us getting that phone call from people saying they've lost the entry form. So, please make sure that you download it, you save it in a safe place, you save it as you go, and you bring your team in. Make use of that entry mentor opportunity. Get all of your information into that entry form, and then book a session and refine your thinking and make sure that you're putting your best entry form forward. Got lots of resources for support. Myself and Charlotte, the program managers, we're a phone call or an email away, and we're always happy to just point people in the right direction or support where we can, or if we can't, we point you in the direction of the entry mentors. So don't hesitate, don't go it alone. We're here to help. And it's as simple as filling it in and emailing it across, and we look forward to seeing lots of local businesses engaging with the awards for the year ahead.
Thank you, Natalie, and I totally agree. I get excited about the business awards. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. So get those entries across. And the best thing is have fun while you're doing it. Don't get stressed out.